I'm no different from anybody else. I don't have special skills. I'm just another guy who sits there day to day in the office, watches what's happening, and goes, this is something that's not our place to decide. The public needs to decide whether these programs and policies are right or wrong.
All right. That's Edward Snowden, a name we're all learning here today, and also the man who leaked those classified documents about the NSA's secret surveillance programs. He's on the run, last spotted in a hotel in Hong Kong. Speaking to The Guardian, it's not clear where. 29-year-old former national security agent, or member of it, I should say, is headed right here, but even he admits it's not likely he's going to escape U.S. law enforcement. The Hong Kong officials in U.S., we do have an extradition treaty, but China could refuse to hand over Snowden if they believe extradition or the request is, quote, politically motivated. Okay, Andrew, I'll start with you. Hero or traitor?
Well, it's impossible to paint somebody that starkly with what limited information we have. I agree with the notion of bringing this information to light. Frankly, I don't understand why this information was classified to begin with. It's not like knowing the program exists would have changed the behavior of people who are potentially suspects in all of this. What he did
the NSA chief completely disagreed with you for whatever that's worth.
I'm shocked that he would absolutely disagree with a program that he himself helped classify. But, you know, are there penalties for breach of basically the contract that he had when he signed up for that job? Absolutely, and he should be prosecuted for that. But not the same way that you would prosecute somebody for treason or for aiding and abetting the enemy. There is an element of necessity to what he did because of the fact that this was hidden from everybody.
Tommy?
I don't see what the element of necessity is. In my opinion, he's a hero, but he's going to jail. There's no doubt about it. He needs... Somebody gave him very bad advice. He needs one of these lawyers with him in Hong Kong.
He knew what he was doing.
No, as far as as far as you wait till you get to the safe country and then you talk. He didn't even check the extradition treaty rules between Hong Kong and America. Hero, but he's going to jail. No doubt about it.
I think he was very generous in this case. How do you think?
Look, that there is now going to be a debate about these policies is a good thing. And to that extent, fine. If they can show, however, that he endangered a particular agent, a particular operation, a particular investigation, that's different. They haven't shown that yet. Right now, he's done the country a service. If there's more information showing he did worse, we'll have to wait and see, and we'll get that. He's not exactly a hero, but he's certainly not a traitor.
Does he have to injure some particular person specifically, or can he injure a program that, let's say, is credited with stopping a subway bombing?
I don't know how you can injure a program and cause harm in the sense that professional criminals and terrorists are assuming, I would guess, unless they're complete idiots, that the government has active anti-terrorism and anti-crime programs.
There is a bit of, whatever it's worth, Mike, there's a little melodrama with a guy that the triads are going to get him, some Asian gang or whatever. I mean, he certainly likes the attention, it seems. He voluntarily outed himself and kept giving the interviews, etc. But I'm curious, what do you think your classroom would feel about this? We asked the poll as to the trade-offs, because this is all about trade-offs in America. And these are people studying to be professionals in this field or a related field. Would you guess that the younger generation does a collective shrug here? Or do they say, oh my God, my personal information, I'm being data mined? What do you think?
I think it's a mix, even in the classroom, even the younger generation. They understand, they're very in tune to what's going on. Again, I would tell my students that this man was brave, certainly brave. The question is he put anyone at risk? It's all about protection.
You know better than me. You're an analyst. There's more than an expectation. It is clear that you are to uphold the confidentiality of what you're doing. Now, if he chose to go against it, he chose to expose it for the national good or whatever else, okay, but just like the expression, you do the crime, you do the time.
There's a punishment. You'd send Daniel Ellsberg to jail for releasing the Pentagon Papers?
He'd send Bradley Manning to jail.
Yeah, well, make up your mind. I mean, either
it's not that cut and dry. Is John Adams a patriot, or did he commit treason?
Well, from the English point of view, he was a traitor, but that's not. We won the war. That's not the point. Is leaking of classified documents per se, no discussion about circumstances, always punishable as a crime. Daniel Ellsberg saved lives by changing American political attitudes towards the Vietnam War. Do you want to send him to jail?
I think there's a chilling effect if you don't, or I think there's a harmful effect if you don't. Now you're basically greenlighting everybody that works in national security that has access to confidential information with security clearances. Time out. You have access to security clearance at the top level, and you're going to basically greenlight everybody to pick and choose what they're going to expose?
Secrecy is more important than truth.
Nobody forced him to get into that world.
Secrecy
He
is more
chose
important
And make $200,000, by the way.
Secrecy is more important than truth as a value in America.
So who decides, Richard?
Tough question. But what you've decided is that the guy who comes out in favor of truth is to be punished, and the guy who comes out in favor of secrecy.
I'm sorry. If a police officer doesn't agree with a certain law, he should only enforce the laws he agrees with?
Life is complicated.
Well, let's assume that you work for the NSA and you learn that the United States is about to be led into an unnecessary war. Are you a traitor because you tell the United States that we didn't need to go to war?
Daniel Ellsberg.
Should you go to prison for that? At some point, it just seems clear to me that I'm of the belief now that the terrorists won on 9/11 because we fundamentally changed who we are after that day, and they didn't need to do any more. So if we give up all of the things that made this country special, and the guy I'm heavy,
but I have a question for you, and it goes for everybody. Apparently, Congressman Mike Rogers, who's on the House Intelligence Committee, said he's working to declassify right now 2 domestically based attacks that were foiled directly because of the existence of the program. Is there any metric, Mayor, where you say, wait a minute, is it 50 lives? Is it 100 lives? Is it 5,000 lives? Is there a number that you say it's worth the trade-off?
Well, I would tend to, first of all, I would like to see some evidence that there was no other way to thwart those efforts, because if you're mining everyone's data, I don't see how you can effectively do that and pinpoint anything to begin with.
They'd argue, though, because it's data mining that he's forgotten more than I'll ever know. By having the ability to triangulate, you're only going to have the ones that have enough commonalities of threat that it'll come to the top. So while our stuff may be mined, they're not going after us unless something pings to the top. And I grant you, as I say that out loud, it is a slippery slope. All right, Matthew, great job. Thank you so much for coming in. All right, guys, when we come back, talking a little politics, New Jersey Senate race officially underway, the momentum. It is clearly behind the guy on the screen, Cory Booker. Can anybody else get in? And why exactly aren't more Republicans getting in on this? We'll talk about that straight ahead.